that you are the reason.
All right, everybody, how you doing? You are listening to Dylan on the Boom Radio. I have a very special guest here with me today. It is the sweetest metal band from Canton, Vollstin. How are you doing, guys?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. We are here with Justin, the lead guitar player, and Alex, the drummer. We're going to be talking about their new EP today that just came out on, what?
September 7th.
September 7th. All right, guys. So, you guys have been a band for how long now?
We're coming up on 4 years since we've had Justin.
Really?
Yeah.
How long were you a band before that?
My brother and myself, we've been doing it for upwards about 7.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Is this something you've wanted to do for a while, the EP?
The EP, yeah, we've wanted to make something actually sound good with that good quality for a very long time. We've been to other studios and it didn't match to the sound we have now. So actually having it right now is a big, it's really cool for us to see because we've been wanting to do it for so long. So we're just really happy with how everything turned out.
Right, that's good. So what was the writing process like for you guys before you went and recorded?
It was really interesting, honestly, because we had, like, a couple of the songs had been written like probably 2 weeks before we actually went in to record them, and then some of the songs were actually like written when I was like 15 years old, like right when I first joined the band. Like Restraints, which is the first song on the EP, that song was written, that was the second song I ever wrote with this band, and it actually made it on the EP. Like, I didn't expect that, but like it's just a really cool mix of stuff to come together as one whole unit, I guess.
That's wild, man, that you wrote those songs so long ago and then now it's ended up on the EP, on the CD, and you can listen to it. Like, what is it like when a song evolves in that way?
Honestly, it's kind of shocking because like that song, when I originally wrote it, I was just like listening to a lot of like the YouTube guitarists, you know, and I was like seeing like their intros, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool to write a song like with like riffs like that. And then I did it, and then here comes, like, we have 3 songs that were written like within the past year before recording the EP, and then we have like 2 or 3 songs written like back when I was like a sophomore in high school. And it's just kind of like crazy to see how like those songs can still hold up with these newer songs, although I will admit I prefer the newer ones.
So, getting into the studio, what does that take these days? I mean, not only practice, I'm sure, but like, what does it take as far as money and time management and everything like that, coordinating something?
Overall, it takes a lot of communication because you're not just dealing with yourself going in the studio, you're dealing with 4 other people, or in our case, 3 other people, and you got to look at everyone's schedule, you got to look at the producer's schedule. So you kind of all have to be on the same page when doing that, and you have to fill in that time with practices, making sure everything is right before you go in the studio. And like you mentioned, money, it's not a cheap process, so it helps when everyone has a job. So you really have to save up, and you have to sacrifice a lot of the things you want for the things you need to make a good record, I think.
I can imagine it's hard too, having a job and all these other responsibilities and still trying to find time to practice and get into the studio and record. Alright, so if you guys are just now tuning in, we are here with Vollstin. They're a metal band from Canton, talking about their new EP. When we come back, we're going to discuss the recording process itself and see how their album is doing now. And we're back. If you guys missed it, we're here with Vollstin from Canton. They're a metal band, and they just put out their first EP. So guys, what was it like recording the album itself?
It was kind of an interesting process with Hayden, who helps like record and produce the album. He really, like, we just went to the studio, and then he had me and Alex just like play the songs very roughly, just so we could look at them at first before we actually like started getting solid tracks down, because he really wanted to like help make sure we had everything we needed there, and we even got to like write in the studio with him, which I think really helped it in the end, because there's a lot of ideas that he brought to the table that we had never really like tried before. Like on 2 of the tracks we have breakdowns, and we had never really done those before, so that was a really interesting process trying to learn those. Took a good bit to track those, but yeah, I would say overall the recording process it's very like dynamic, I would say, because you have someone who's recording and like obviously knows music because they do it for a living, and then you have like us who are very like connected to our songs, so we're like, we don't really want to change them, but like your idea is sweet, so yeah.
That's awesome, though. Like you said with the breakdowns, too, that was something you never really tried before. And in my opinion, that turned out really sweet. I really like those. What has everybody else thought about?
I personally I've never been into like the metalcore scene as of lately, but I was really nervous about it at first because, like I said, that wasn't really the music I listened to. I was more just kind of like a old school metal guy, you know, Metallica and all that stuff. So I was a little nervous going into it, but once Hayden pulled out the first one for The Shallow, once that came out and it started to sound like really good, I was like, all right, I think I can get behind this. But at first I was super nervous, but it turned out way better than I expected, and it gives the song a whole new dynamic, I think.
So when you guys, now that you have the album out, the EP out, you guys are obviously doing live shows. What are those like?
Oh, actually, we've had before. We'd play shows. We would have people there like supporting us and stuff, and like some people would like know the songs, but like now I've even noticed like people like know the lyrics to the songs. Like they actually like are there for the music rather than there because like they're playing or it's like their friend or something. Like they actually like know the songs well enough that like they're like look forward to certain parts. Like we'll have people in the crowd that really like our heavier songs, like Dolorum and The Shallow, that have those breakdowns, and like they really, you could see them like anticipating those breakdowns. And then there's songs like Memories and Lost where you can actually see people in the crowd like singing like not only the choruses but the verses as well, which is like really amazing to me because like I never thought our lyrics were, or my lyrics were that great, but I mean, if they connect with someone, I think that's really great, and I'm glad people can get something out of it.
That's good for you, man. I remember at that Alliance show that we were at, I remember all like 3 of us that were there were singing.
Oh yeah,
Memories.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
really funny.
That was really cool to see.
Speaking of memories, what would you guys say, for the final question, what would you guys say your funniest memory in this band is?
Oh Lord, Alex already took the one that I would like to say, but it's okay. He's gonna talk about himself, so. Funny memory. We'll let Alex go first, yeah.
Alright, I'll go first since Justin's thinking. So this was right when Justin joined the band. He was still pretty new. I think it was early 2016 or late 2015. After a practice one night, we'd usually like stop and get food somewhere, so we all decided to go get some Blizzards at the local Dairy Queen. And we get our stuff and we're outside, and I get the bright idea. This is like 10 minutes after we've already ordered our Blizzard. I get the bright idea. I'm like, hey, I think I should just tip this upside down because they do it in store when they hand it to you. So I do that, and everything's silent, and the whole Blizzard falls right on the ground. And I just let out this wailing scream of just disappointment. So I scoop it back up in my cup and eat it, and there's like all these rocks in it and everything. And everyone's just, we're all dying. Like no one expected my Blizzard to just fall on the ground. So
You still ate the Blizzard.
Yeah,
Like rocks and all.
he literally,
Yeah, rocks and
it was like at the Dairy Queen we went to, like it was an older one, so like the asphalt was like all torn up, like it was like pretty much gravel at that point, right? And he just drops the Blizzard, makes the funniest plopping sound you'll ever hear. It's just like, right? And then he goes, I'm still eating it. Gets out his spoon, starts scooping it back in, and I can see the rocks, and like he's spitting out the rocks. I'm like, how? No, that's not okay. But
So what's yours then, Justin?
oh goodness, mine's more like funny, like loading in stuff. Sometimes we'll have like other bands help us when we load in, and when we were loading out once, when we first played our first show with Black the Sun, also a really good band. They were like, hey, let's help carry your drum stuff. And then the one guitarist, he's carrying it out, and then you just hear this loud crash of drums and cymbals, and you're like, oh god. And then he goes, it's okay, I didn't break them. And it's like, he just totally just dropped like half of Alex's drums just on the pavement. And he's just like, it's cool.
Drum roll.
Yeah, literally.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming in. Once again, if you missed it, these guys are Vollstin. They're a heavy metal band from Canton. They just put their new EP out called The Shallow. It's available on all the streaming services. You guys should check it out. Thanks for tuning in. I've been Dylan on LCCC Boom Radio.